You're watching your local television network, TSPN, and now back to Today's Seniors Living Well with your host, Laurie Webb.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Today's Seniors Living Well. Change is good, it really is. I wish I'd had this card that Geralyn just brought. It says, you're a good example of what happens when people eat right, exercise, and really take care of themselves. Don't you think that would be the perfect thing for Georgia?
It would.
Wasn't she amazing?
She was an amazing person.
So, and before I introduce my guest, I want to give a shout out to Robin's mom, Myra, who is celebrating her 75th birthday today. And Robin was so excited about all the things she had to tell us that she forgot to say happy birthday to you, Mom, but I'm sure she'll make up for it when she gets home. So, happy birthday, Myra. So, Geralyn, you're back.
I'm here.
You've been on the show before. Yeah, we have such a great
Nice.
resource in the diabetic outpatient program. And I'm sure you have a lot of things to tell us about today. But some folks aren't even familiar. I'm always surprised somebody comes and says, I just got diagnosed with diabetes. Is there some place I can go to learn some stuff in the county? And I'm like, oh boy, do we ever have a great program.
We are very lucky.
How long? We've been certified, that program's been around for
16 years.
16 years, yeah.
16 years. We just had our 16th annual diabetes fair.
Wow.
Which happens every September, and it's open to all persons in the community who have those questions. I have diabetes, or I have a neighbor with diabetes, or my dad has diabetes. What do I do?
Right. And so the fair happened in September, but the program goes on all year round.
Program goes on every day. Unfortunately, we aren't there on the weekends, but you can leave us a message. But about 16 years ago, Kim Vaught, the director of food and nutrition at that time of the hospital, and myself were talking very informally about what to do with people who we see in the hospital with diabetes, and isn't there something to do before then? And from that, the hospital supported beginning the outpatient diabetes program.
That's wonderful. And now you have four
certified diabetes educators, which means we are nurses and dietitians who have spent some extra time with people with diabetes and taken a test to prove that we can help people with diabetes.
And boy, do you ever, because I happen to be a very happy client of that program. I was diagnosed, I think, almost 3 years ago now.
True confessions.
Maureen has helped me learn to eat right, exercise right, and become a better person.
That's right.
So now people don't self-refer to the program. They have to have a doctor's referral.
People can call in to our number at any time. They can call to our number, but we will need to call their physician in order to get a referral for them to be seen in the program, which then allows insurance to cover the program.
And insurance does cover the program, Medicare,
private insurance. As you know, insurances are all a little different, but if you have any questions about your insurance, we have a wonderful office person who can help you try and figure out what your insurance covers.
That's
so
wonderful.
Medicare, Medi-Cal, private insurance.
And you all have just a ton of resources. I mean, I cannot believe when you walk into the section of the hospital, there's books, there's
books,
supplies.
there's pamphlets, but we will always sit down with everybody one-on-one and talk with them first, because one of the main things with diabetes is that you are different from your neighbor or your parent or your sibling. So whether it be that you have type 1 or type 2 or gestational diabetes, which we are seeing a big rise in pregnant women with diabetes right now. So that is one of the fastest growing numbers in our county right now that we are seeing.
And is there something you can attribute that to?
The look overall in the United States is that we are larger people and not as active people, and that is showing up at younger ages too. And certainly during pregnancy, as women have babies from whatever age, and later in life also, we're seeing more gestational diabetes.
Because, my daughter had that when she was pregnant with my granddaughter, and she didn't have the kind of resources. She had to kind of rely on her public health mom to kind of guide her through some of it.
Those moms are great resources.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
But
women who have gestational diabetes, if they've had type 2 in their family, then they are more at risk, 60% more at risk at developing type 2. So helping her maintain what that card said, a good, healthy, active lifestyle, hopefully will move it along.
She's doing very well at it, and had a very healthy. My personal trainer.
A very beautiful grandchild, as I recall.
Yes. So in addition to the program, you have a support group every month also. That meets usually the fourth Thursday from 4:30 to 5:30.
Good senior memory time.
Yeah,
yes, the fourth Thursday of every month.
Except this month. This is going to be on November 14th, which is tomorrow.
Because we figured that people didn't really want to come to a diabetes support group on Thanksgiving. It just might not be the best holiday time.
But are they going to want to go to a diabetic support group and listen to what they shouldn't eat at Thanksgiving, or what's going to happen at that meeting tomorrow?
Well, we try and actually promote that it's not about being bad with diabetes or eating all the wrong things is why you develop diabetes. If you have diabetes in your family, you are at risk, and then there are things you can do to hopefully keep you as healthy as possible. So there are some healthy eating tips to help you enjoy the holidays while you keep your blood sugar in control. So Maureen Mooney-Michaels, our wonderful dietitian diabetes educator, will be there with a few things to share and ideas and some things to take home.
So you can go to this support group, and then
this is free of charge. This is for anybody in the community. You can bring your neighbor, you can bring your grandfather.
So if you don't have diabetes, but you're going to be cooking for some relatives that have diabetes, it might be valuable to go and figure out what. I mean, there's a ton of resources, recipes. You brought Diabetic Meals in 30 Minutes or Less by Robin Webb. Robin Valencia and I got together and wrote this in our spare time. But there's
I'm sure you've collected many recipes now that you could share.
Yeah, because my husband, he went on Weight Watchers, which wasn't real diabetic friendly, but we figured out between what Maureen was teaching me and what he was trying to do, we figured out some great things that we can do.
It does not mean one of the most common things we get when people have been diagnosed with diabetes is a phone call saying, I've just been diagnosed with diabetes. Can I eat anything besides chicken and salad? And so certainly there are many more things besides chicken and salad you can eat. So but until you have the information, you're not sure. So we have our resources.
I know one of the things I really appreciated was the fact that that you do go into a room with you or Mary or Maureen, or I guess is Kim seeing some people too?
Every now and then.
Every now and then. So you sit down for a whole hour, unrushed, just, really specific talking. And even, I had been a home health nurse for more years than I care to count. But I learned things from Maureen, but also my whole antipathy for exercise was kind of something to overcome. But that's something you all really emphasize. It's very important with diabetes.
It's very important to be active, and as you know, with our senior population, the active aging program that used to, fit after 50 didn't quite fit because people at 50 did not think that they were seniors. Now we have Foothill Fitness, which encompasses everybody. But activity is scary when you think you have to go to a gym 5 days a week and pump iron. So what we try and work with people is that might not fit for you, and maybe there is an activity you can do just to get moving a little more. So activity is at least as important 50% as eating.
So we don't use the E word, exercise, anymore.
We don't use that word very often. We try not. That's a little scary. Increasing our activity.
But what you just said is important. I mean, I think a lot of people, when they get diagnosed with diabetes, they immediately start thinking, oh, I'm never going to be able to enjoy eating again. But really, if they're willing to look at being less sedentary, they can have.
So on Thanksgiving, if you're going to have that meal, then perhaps there can be a walk beforehand or after, or dancing with a granddaughter was one activity I know one patient really enjoys.
It's really fun.
So dancing with a granddaughter counts as activity. Those are all good.
Take advantage of having that younger group of family members there, or go for a walk before or after dinner while the cookies stir. There's a lot of things you can do. Now, this is National Diabetes Month. November is. Odd month to pick for it.
Well, we have to get in everything in the year, a calendar of national activities, right?
It's true. So are there any special things going on at the we already had the diabetic fair.
Right. We actually moved the fair to September because there are so many activities in November that in order to have people, the vendors come to visit, they were booked in November. So we actually moved them to September. But there are lots of activities. There's always an annual diabetes walk. Both the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation and the American Diabetes Association host walks in Sacramento or Stockton or Lodi. We've talked about having a walk here, so we'll have to think about that.
Yeah, in your spare time,
in
right?
our spare time. Anyone is always welcome to walk with us when we want. But besides the holiday support group, and as Laurie mentioned, the support group, this is free of charge. So every month that happens at the hospital as well. So on an ongoing basis, there are wonderful members of our community who come and speak on topics interesting to people with diabetes, whether it be eye care or foot care or lab
really
values.
Wide variety.
Right.
Now, next month, December,
we don't have a meeting in
no
December.
meeting in December, okay, because it'd be the day after
it would
Christmas.
be Christmas time, and we don't do that.
Yeah.
Correct,
okay.
right. So that meets ongoing.
But if someone has a question or a concern, what number would they call?
They could call either the hospital general number, and they would link them to the diabetes department, or our direct number is 223-7448.
223-7448, directly to the Sutter outpatient, and you're there, or Sharon's there answering the phone. Actually,
There's
you all
an
answer the phone.
we all answer
Somebody
the
answers
phones,
phone.
or there is an answering machine that answers them.
Voicemail.
And we encourage people, they can always leave a message in the middle of the night if they need to. The next morning, somebody could pick it up and call it back.
Call them back.
We're not a 24-hour service, but we will always return calls.
Yes, and I must say that's been my experience when I've been trying to get other kinds of answers.
Right.
I get called back very quickly.
Very
so
quickly. We all listen
very
to
much
what the
appreciated.
issues are, and sometimes we have seniors who have a grandchild coming to visit or stay with them for an extended period of time, and that's also very open to questions regarding people coming for a short period of time.
Great. Well, Geralyn, thank you so much.
Thank you, Laurie.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for another week, and stay tuned. Next week we have let's see, we have a senior and some other programs. So I have to say goodbye. I'm experiencing a senior moment now.
She said it already.
Today's Seniors Living Well was made possible in part by a generous board of supervisors. Chairman of the board, District 2 Supervisor Richard Forrester of Amador City, Ione, and Comanche. District 3 Supervisor serving the eastern areas of the upcountry. District 1 Supervisor in the Jackson area. District 4 Supervisor Louis Boitano, Creek and Pine Grove, and District 5 Supervisor Brian Plymouth and the north area of western Amador County. Call 223-6470 or go to u.co.amador.ca.